Hello, this is Rachel from the Nerdy Homeschooler, and I am coming to you today with a September homeschool recap and update. Now remember, I love to chat all things Nerdy Homeschool with you, so go ahead and leave your comments down below. Share with me your update from September. What was something you loved? What's something that you adapted and changed throughout the month? I want to hear it all. I'm always here for the Nerdy Homeschool conversations. And now I'm going to recap my month, and I'm going to share something that might be a problem that I'm probably not alone in facing. First up, I do want to address that last month I did share a big change that our family is making in our lifestyle. We are shutting down the learning center that I've been involved with operating for the past 8+ years now. And we've been shutting that down. We've been in the process of moving all of the books, the bookshelves, the tables, everything into our home. Downsizing, not completely ceasing, what we were doing. I'm not letting go of my students that I've worked with for many years, but we're finding a new normal and a new way of inviting some of these very dear friends and students into our home, and I guess maybe giving them even more of a homeschool style learning experience alongside homeschooling my own children. Now, that has been a lot of work in just the physical moving of stuff, and we're still in the process of getting everything out and completely closing our center. It has also brought some growing pains from having significantly more children in the home, significantly more hours throughout the week. There's growing pains, and I expected that to be the case. There's times when it is definitely stretching me and stretching what I can manage in a day. There somehow feels like less downtime in a day, even though I am not leaving the house nearly as often. But having a very full house, a significant portion of the week, it's something, and it's something that will take some getting used to for all of us. I never judge any new experience by how things have gone for the first couple weeks. That is my life advice in general, and I'm taking my own life advice and knowing that we will adjust, and we will figure out the strategies that really make it feel like we are succeeding in these new rhythms. We'll get there, but it will take time. But now, here's the problem, and you can let me know if you've ever faced this problem, because I feel like it's probably a relatively common one. And I'm going to share how I have been meeting this problem, handling this problem, and kind of the worldview and the perspective that I'm trying to communicate through my handling of it. But you can also share with me, how does this go down in your own homeschool? Here's the problem. So a number of times this month, my boys have been showing up to schoolwork with the words, "I don't want to do my schoolwork." They've been saying, "Mom, this isn't fun," or "I want to play." So they've been coming to me with these words, very clearly articulating their position on the matter, as I'm calling them to math and English and Spanish lessons. And I'm not exactly sure what their goal is or what their expectation is from the mind of a child. I don't know if they're expecting that my response will be like, "Oh, I thought you wanted to do your schoolwork. We're only doing this because I thought you wanted to. Sure, go ahead and go play." I don't really know, what they're thinking will be the outcome from these statements of what they want, but that's not the outcome that I'm responding to these statements with. Because if they say to me, "I want to play, I don't want to do schoolwork, it's not fun," my response, I'm not going to get freaked out. I'm not going to let these statements, dishearten me too much. Although of course, as homeschool moms, it's a little bit disheartening. We've invested a lot into our children's education, and yeah, it can be a little bit disheartening when they show very clearly that they don't appreciate it. But the response I have been using this month, and the idea I've been trying to communicate, is basically, yeah, I know you want to play. I know that you don't think that schoolwork is fun. I even know that you don't want to do schoolwork. And I'm trying to more just communicate this idea that, yeah, that's relatively normal. I mean, a lot of kids don't get super excited about practicing their times tables. They don't get super excited about doing their copy work and spelling words correctly. Like, I am not doing this with the expectation that you really, really want to and that this is super fun for you. That's not my main motivation behind schoolwork. And of course, I'm not using this many words with kids. with young boys. I'm giving you guys the fuller thought process behind this. But I will say this very succinctly. Yeah, I know you don't want to. This is your responsibility. So we are going to do our responsibilities. And every day there will be time to play. There will be time to do things that you want to do. And actually the time to play and the time to do things that you want to do comes a lot sooner when you attack your responsibilities with a diligent spirit. When you get to your work, don't get distracted. Don't get caught up in thinking about, do I want to do this responsibility or do I not want to do this responsibility? I really try to encourage them to not focus too much on whether they want to and just realize, hey, this is just a fact of life. I'm a child, schoolwork is my responsibility and I got to do it. And there are going to be not fun things in schoolwork. I like to use very realistic examples that they can relate to. So, they've got a toddler brother. So if I'll say, do you think when he has a dirty diaper that I'm feeling, do I want to change his dirty diaper or do I not want to change his dirty diaper? I'd rather play. I'd rather read a book. I'd rather do anything else. I'm not asking myself, do I want to? I'm asking, does this need to be done and is it my responsibility? The answer is clearly yes. So I'm not going to waste time thinking about what I want and what seems fun for me. I'm just going to do my responsibility. And that is a life skill needed throughout all of life. So sometimes doing our math, yeah, we get to learn math, but we're also really learning the life skill that, hey, you just got to do your responsibilities, whether you're super excited to do your responsibilities or not. Now, this response is not necessarily going to make everything easy and make the light bulb click immediately and have them instantly internalize this value for doing hard work and completing their responsibilities, because children are children and they are still immature and we can't expect them to have the level of maturity that they don't yet have. But be consistent. Don't let an idea like, oh, I don't want to, this isn't fun, mean, oh, okay, I guess we won't do our responsibilities then. No. We don't play that game. We don't play that here. And being very consistent with that attitude of, yeah, it doesn't really matter that you don't want to. And I'm also not surprised. A lot of kids all over the world don't really want to do their schoolwork. Oh well, move on with your life. Now, as far as some updates on our actual curriculum, I think I said in my last update that we'd finished Llamitas level 2 with my oldest, and we're going to pause on heading into Llamitas level 3. I ended up changing that plan and we have started Llamitas level 3. We go through Llamitas slowly, just taking our time and really trying to master this vocabulary, reviewing things again and again. And I added this back in. Basically, he loves Llamitas. He's used to it being a consistent rhythm in his homeschool. It's probably one of the Spanish things that he enjoys the most. So I put that back in for him, and he always enjoys that and is motivated for it. Another update for him is, I believe it was sometime during September, that we finished 3rd grade Math with Confidence, and we are now a couple weeks into 4th grade Math with Confidence. We've just started the 2nd unit, and this is one of the areas where I am seeing that we're getting to a little bit of that kind of transition phase with my son between the early years, the easy years, K through 2nd grade, which he still is a 2nd grader. But if you don't know, if you're new to homeschooling or new to education, 3rd grade is kind of a notorious transition time for kids because K through 2nd grade, they're easy, they're light, they're fun. And then 4th through 6th grade is really where the rubber meets the road. And 3rd grade tends to be that big transition year where it's like we gotta get things into gear and the level of work expectations is really rising. Now he is not yet in 3rd grade, and he is a 2nd grader and he's a 7-year-old. So some of his skills and some of his attention span and, writing skills are more at that 7-year-old level. But then in some areas, he is more advanced, like in math, where we are going into 4th grade Math with Confidence. And he definitely has the cognitive ability to handle the problem solving in this book. In fact, probably 75% of this will not be new skills to him. However, the amount of work is where I'm seeing this is going to be more of a stretch for him, because this is not the amount of writing or the amount of work that would be expected of a 2nd grader or a 7-year-old typically. And it's working. It's still working so far. He's happy to be starting this new level. He's excited about it. It's been going really well. but I'm starting to see that little transition time, which I've saw it with many of my siblings as they start getting to that transition between little kid easy schoolwork to bigger kid schoolwork. There can be some little bumps in the road and some stress and some frustration with really getting in gear with all of the skills that need to come together to really be able to tackle upper elementary and beyond type of academics. So I think we are actually hitting that third grade stage in some ways a little bit on the early side. And because he's younger, some of his skills aren't at that third grade level. He's not writing at a third grade level at all. He still writes more like a little kid with bigger letters. And so his words are not always going to fit into the blanks if he's using an older kid's school book. So little things like that, I'm seeing that as a transition, and I think we just got to stay consistent and just give him time. And sometimes I do a little bit of scaffolding, like, hey, if he has a longer answer in a book that he's doing, he can do the book, but it's a longer answer that needs to be written out. I will go ahead and write that answer because I'm not going to make the writing of the answers a huge thing that he has to be able to do right now, when I know that he's actually really doing the work of a grade level that's, a year higher than where he should be. For my younger son, who's in his kindergarten year right now, we are just plugging away, being very, very consistent with math, reading, Spanish. We're doing Curious Kinder. Curious Kinder is always the fun part of our day, the fun literature and explorations. I have been doing very well with having him draw every day. And that is really a delight to just see his little drawings and see his creativity come out. That's an area where he really shines. But I'm also been very happy with how it's going with his Spanish reading. I think that's an area where I was less confident with teaching my oldest when he was in kindergarten. So I love seeing that, my kindergartner can sit down and he can decode basic words in English and he can decode basic words in Spanish. He can do both. I have not yet bumped into any real confusion between the two languages. We are doing both every day. Now, I wouldn't say his progress is super fast. He is at a basic level of reading, 4 and 5 letter short vowel words in English, 2 to 3 syllable simple words in Spanish, bonita, simple words like that. But he can do it, and it takes time. It takes patience. Teaching kids to read takes a lot of patience. But when you are maybe seeing slow progress, but you are seeing progress and you are showing up every day and doing the work, I just want to encourage you, don't, freak out or get worried. Just realize, some kids are just going to stay in the sounding out phase for a good long while. And you just need to keep showing up and do that sounding out work. And they're going to gradually grow in confidence, gradually grow in speed. Some kids will make the leaps more quickly. Other kids just won't. So I'm seeing him, maybe we haven't had a ton of progress, but he can do this work. It just takes time to sit there and have him read the words. And when he does read the words, one thing I'm really happy with is he definitely reads with engagement. So he reads slowly, but he's reading with comprehension and engagement because he always has a comment to make about everything he reads. He has to comment on every single sentence. So that might also be one of the things that is slowing us down. And for my toddler, I want to mention Llamitas again because Llamitas has actually just added a new and free resource on their YouTube channel. They've started producing a series of nursery rhyme or traditional Spanish song videos for children. And I love these videos because a lot of Spanish children's song videos or English children's song videos are really manic is the word I would use. They're really flashy, moving, loud, or there's a lot of instruments. It can even be hard to hear the words sometimes. So I have always, with all my toddlers, I've been like, I don't want to show them these song videos. They just don't seem like the more peaceful mode that I want to have for music for my kids. Llamitas is doing something really great. I'm really proud of this. They have a whole playlist on YouTube now, and they will be continuing to add to this playlist. I think they're planning to have at least 10 videos. Right now they have 5 available. Los pollitos dicen, la lechuza, el barco chiquitito, los elefantes. So a bunch of really classic children's beginner songs, and they're not manic, they're not crazy. They're just singing with some like simple guitar accompaniment. They have their watercolor illustrations, and there might be like some motion, like the little boat is like floating on the water, but it's peaceful, simple. It's not all flashy and crazy and loud. So these have actually been the first song videos that I've ever let my toddler watch. I've never let him watch like YouTube videos of song videos before. These were the first ones that I'm like, yeah, this is what I would like. And his favorite is Los Pollitos Dicen, Pio Pio. He loves to ask for Pio Pio song. And he likes La Lechuza one a lot. So we will watch those videos, and he's starting to be able to sing along, which is just adorable. Another thing that is starting to open up to him is Play-Doh and dot markers, which I've tried these many times, Play-Doh and dot markers, and he's always loved them. The problem is that he has loved to eat them. So they always end up getting taken away after about 90 seconds because he could not have the self-control to not eat them. Well, he is starting to get to a phase where he can be trusted to sit in his high chair with Play-Doh without eating the Play-Doh, and that is a wonderful, a wonderful change, a wonderful new developmental stage that some more activities are opening up to him because he's not putting every single thing in his mouth every time you turn your back. And he is enjoying his dot markers or even just normal markers and scribbling on a piece of paper and showing it with a lot of pride. I think he sees his big brothers doing their schoolwork and writing things on paper, and so he definitely is like, this is a big kid thing to do. So it is so fun, and it's also a lot of work. It's a lot of work to be part of raising and disciplining, discipling, and educating young children. It's a great privilege, and it is a lot of work. So yeah, I'm usually pretty tired by the end of the day. I don't know about you. I'm imagining it's a similar story. But I am so grateful for this life, and I'll be back next time to update you with what we did in October. I'll see you later. Bye.